Breaking news from Los Angeles this morning. An arrest just made in connection with the overdose death of Friends star Matthew Perry. Perry was found dead in his home, in his pool at his home last October. The Los Angeles Medical Examiner attributed his death to the acute effects of ketamine. And joining us now, NBC's Steve Patterson from Los Angeles, NBC Justice and Intelligence correspondent Ken Dilanian, Kristen Gibbons-Fedden, former prosecutor and MSNBC legal analyst, and Eric Deggans, TV critic for NPR. Steve, give us the very latest. This news is just breaking right now. What do we know?
Just breaking. Our newsroom is taking it in as we speak. But yes, law enforcement sources telling NBC News that at least one arrest was made in connection to this overdose death of Matthew Perry. Perry, of course, again, found dead at his home in a hot tub in Pacific Palisades in October of 2023. So about 10 months since then, there has been this wide-ranging federal investigation, LAPD, DEA, U.S. Postal Service, all headed by the U.S. Attorney's Office to get to the bottom of how this happened. The questions would have been, were there any drug dealers in connection to this? Were there any doctors who prescribed this in connection to his death? Were his friends facilitating this in some way? All of that sort of the source, the trigger of the investigation. But what we know now, what we have confirmed, at least one arrest in connection. We should learn more from the U.S. Attorney's Office, perhaps later on this morning in connection with this. But for now, that's what we have confirmed. Of course, our news team is working to confirm more details as this is breaking just a few minutes ago.
Again, at least one person arrested in connection with the overdose death involving Matthew Perry last October. Do we know, could more arrests still be coming?
Absolutely. More arrests certainly possible. In fact, law enforcement sources likely to be continuing this investigation this morning. There was a huge dragnet all over L.A. County. So there's the high possibility that there will be more. Again, all we have confirmed right now is the one in connection with this. But we should, again, learn more from the U.S. Attorney's Office as this investigation continues this morning on it.
And Ken, L.A. police said in May that they were working with federal authorities. So again, federal, local, what more can you tell us about the scope of this investigation?
Well, Anna, the Drug Enforcement Administration has made a point in recent years of trying to get to the source when people die of an overdose and try to trace where those drugs came from and hold the dealer accountable. Even though in this case and in other cases, the death of Matthew Perry was not ruled a homicide by the medical examiner. It was ruled accidental. There still may be and probably will be criminal liability if he was provided this ketamine illegally. And lest we think it's just celebrities that get this treatment, the Drug Enforcement Administration has been doing this all over the country with all kinds of people. When people die of an overdose, they send a special team in. They have intelligence capability. They get into their phones. They trace back where the drugs came from. As Steve said, the postal inspectors are also involved because sometimes the drugs went through the mail. This has been a priority of the Biden administration because a lot of people are dying mostly of fentanyl overdoses, but of drug overdoses in this country. And there's been a growing call for accountability. And this is one way that the federal government is trying to provide it on.
And at the time, we had learned that Matthew Perry had been receiving ketamine infusion therapy to treat anxiety and depression. The medical examiner said he had received the last treatment about a week and a half before his death. And so it was especially odd that his levels of ketamine in his system were so high. They said it was the equivalent to the amount used for general anesthesia during surgery, according to the medical examiner, which is really, I think, what triggered this larger investigation.